Helen, it's the last shirt. Zed, that you've chosen the worst one for it.
No, shut up. It's
your stripes are the wrong.
shirt.
The stripes are the wrong way. How can a football club change the way the stripes going? They're hoops and not stripes.
Yeah, but Torquay are hoops. They're not stripes. Torquay aren't
Well, look
stripes.
at the one behind her, over her shoulder. That's stripes.
Oh yeah, they are. They are stripes.
So you've got stripes and hoops. I don't know which way.
We sometimes have nothing at all.
Rugby players play in hoops to make them look wider. Footballers play in stripes to make them look long and thin.
Yeah.
And rugby league players play in chevrons to make them look
broader of the shoulder.
Broader of the shoulder.
I wear black to make myself look thinner.
That's a fact. The best colour to see is red. It's the easiest one to see.
Winds balls
I thought
up.
it was white. I thought I read
it's
somewhere
red.
that if you play all in white, it looks like you have more players on the pitch.
Red. That's why. That's Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool have won so much because they're cheating by wearing red.
Wow, there you go. there you go, everyone.
Let's get on with the show. Welcome to the world's #1 podcast, Soccer A to Z, the people's podcast, saving football 1 week at a time, whilst helping society.
Should we have not completed that because we've come to Z? Should the world be saved by now?
Who says we haven't? We're working our way through the alphabet from A to Z. Today's letter is Z for Zeppelin. Strong team today as always. Helen's here. Hello, Helen.
Hi.
Joe is here. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
Tubes is here. Hello, Tubes.
Hello.
Robbie is off.
Surprise.
He's influencing.
Shock.
He's off doing some influencing. Matt has said, I don't think I could get more nostalgic about this podcast, but a new level has been unlocked when Robbie said, ask Jeeves at the beginning of the pod, talking about medals. Legend.
I love Robbie.
He did talk about Ask Jeeves. Does that not exist anymore, do we think?
I don't think so.
Everyone just goes Google, don't it?
Ask Jeeves is still
I'm going to be a bit more calm this week, so we've had a lot of feedback about my temper.
You were rattled. You were rattled visibly
I was
last
slightly
week.
annoyed because your lots were terrible. You're wise.
Your head went.
James says, bloody love this episode. Never seen Lovejoy so angry. Simi says, I love how much Tim is losing the plot, having not won a single episode yet.
It's your last chance today.
It is last chance. I'm feeling confident as well. Helen, how are you? How's life at the animal prison?
Yeah, it's all right, thanks. It's okay.
Before I find out news, people love RIAs. I don't think anyone really knew what a RIA was until we started talking about it on this podcast.
With them.
And people, well, they are strange birds you've got running around your prison there. Mark, my
It's just a big emu, innit?
Small.
No,
Small
it's a
Small emu.
Smaller emu.
Mark, who's my ex-friend, you know, he's the one who lost me the week for toss when I did coin toss. He suggested it and we didn't win, so I got rid of him. He messaged me anyway, didn't reply because he's not my friend anymore. But he says...
Moved him on in the window.
I did, yeah. He said, there must be a 90s joke about Helen and Rear of the Year. So we haven't written it yet, but if you can use imagination. Helen, Rear of the Year, she's got rears, and it was a 90s thing, wasn't it? You know,
People ask if they're called Chris or Dyer.
That's good.
The driving home for Christmas.
Yeah, people say the boy's called Chris and the girl's called Di.
But there's a gag in something like the News of the World, you know, how they laugh when Helen got the wrong end of the stick when entering the Rear of the Year, where she turned up with a couple of birds or something. You know, I don't know. There's something like that.
I went to the vet. I went to the vet once with a rear, and because it was. Okay, they can have a calcium deficiency, and it can cause their legs to rock backwards and forwards.
A
calcium deficiency.
Oh, a calcium. Sorry. Yeah.
And it causes them to rock backwards and forwards, and sadly they collapse, and there's not much hope for them. And I took one to the vet, and he wasn't an exotic vet; it was just my vet. And I said, it said there's not a lot of information about it, but it's known as rubbery rear syndrome. And I saved him because I watched him turn around and type into Google rubbery rear, REAR, and I went, no, don't press return, rear, RHEA. But he was about to Google rubbery rears.
I
don't know what he would have got.
When I was a researcher on The Big Breakfast years ago, I started there as a researcher and moved my way up to producer, but I was a researcher. There was the Rear of the Year was a big thing back then in the 90s, and Chris Evans and Gabby they lined up all the member of the production and the people at the house and stuff, and then they chose who had the best rear of the year. I think they called it something else. We gave it a big breakfast slide, and we had to all line up, and then they went through, and I won.
You won rear of the year?
Yeah, but I'm also thinking I might be due compensation now for being lined up on telly and people looking at my bum like that. You never get away with it. We wouldn't have done that on Soccer AM, would we? We
wouldn't dress a fully blown man in a nappy, would we?
The Mercury Award.
Who's bottom?
Helen, what's gone on at the farm then? Anything?
I'm hoping that we're going to start rolling the fields this week because it's dried up quite a lot. The fields go bumpy over the winter with all of the animals wandering about. So you get your friendly local farmer to come with his massive.
Why do they need to be flat for football?
It's
Sports day.
It's just better. They're just better. Everybody rolls their fields.
Is it because Pete wants to kick about with his mates? He's got a goal. Has he got a goal, Pete? One in goal? He's about 7 foot tall, isn't he?
Pete's bigger than Pete Crouch.
Okay.
Is he?
He's taller than Peter Crouch.
Pete's a goalie,
he's
right?
not.
Yeah.
Is he a goalie?
He's centre back.
No.
What position does he play?
Centre back.
I think he used to play up front and then midfield or something. I don't know. He hasn't played for years.
What team does he support again?
He's Tottenham.
Let's move on.
He said that Peter Crouch, being Peter Crouch, did him a massive favour because he's called Pete as well, and he's 6'5" and skinny, really skinny. So he used to play football, and everybody used to take the mick out of him. Then Peter Crouch came along, and everybody just started calling him Crouchy. So he says, "Thank you, Peter Crouch." Did him a massive favour.
Is he all levers?
Can you imagine what a miserable household that must be? You've got the farm with everyone being dispatched. You've got a Torquay fan, never any joy there, and a Spurs fan, no joy. It must be a joyless
House of Doom.
The House of Doom. Yeah. Bit like the Addams Family type thing going on there. That's Helen. Chiefs, what have you been up to?
It's all right. We're at Z.
Chiefs, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Right,
baby.
We had our first night out as a couple. Little baby Molly was with my mother,
right?
And Amy said, I've booked something up. I was like, all right, sweet, what are we doing? She said, we're going to a sound bath.
Amazing.
Went to a sound bath in a big it was on a farm, in a big like container thing. And I've never been to a sound bath.
And
I've never heard of a sound bath.
I don't know what you're on about.
A sound bath. So you turn up, and there was like 10 other people, and then you lay
like that.
You bring all your duvets and stuff, all your pillows, like a yoga mat. You lay on the yoga mat, and then the smells were so lovely. Then they start telling you, like, go, relax, your energy of your body and all that. And then they start hitting gongs. It was nice. I quite like all that stuff because when I was doing rehab for the heart attack, I did meditation. It was me and a load of old people, but I loved the meditation when, like, you're on a beach and all, like, and you like think about it. But this sound bath was more about sounds and just hitting gongs and stuff.
Ooh, there's a whiff of hippy dippy claptrap.
It was a little bit like that.
I did it on Sunday brunch show I do on Sunday. Joe, tune in.
Yeah, what's
great.
that?
It's got cooking and music and celebrity and stuff like that. And I did it, and I thought, this is going to be a load of rubbish, and I absolutely loved it. Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
There's something about the sound of those gongs, and did they have the bowls as well?
Everything.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And there's something about that sound which relaxes.
And do you know what happened as well? It started raining hard, and all the sound of the rain was coming on the.
Nice. I tell you what, I really enjoyed it, and I did it once afterwards. Someone invited me to somewhere. I did it once, but the problem is at the beginning they said to me, "You're on a beach. Let's get you relaxed. You're on a beach. The sun's coming down on your skin," and all I could think is, I haven't got any sunscreen on. And being someone from the like grew up in the 80s without sunscreen, and I got a lot of sunburn. I'm always careful about my skin these days. You know, you got to be careful, and it took me completely out of there.
Well, we had an ozone layer back then, didn't we?
Yeah.
Tubes, did you feel better afterwards? Is there
do you know what? I did.
A longevity to this?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did basically.
How long did it last?
About an hour and a half.
An hour, yeah.
Hour and a half.
I've done it, yeah.
But they keep topping it up with a bit more hot.
Just more sounds. Just more sounds. It was just... I've got to be honest, I did prefer the meditation one when they constantly talk to you. Yeah. I just sort of went... My mind went off when I was just hearing gongs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I recommend meditation. I do it all the time. Right, it helps. Joe, what have you been up to? Have you been meditating? Do you meditate?
No.
I'd love to see you at a sound bath.
Yeah, let's get Joe to a sound bath.
Yeah,
film him.
That'd be a good TV show.
Probably sound baths you can fall asleep, and it's like...
Amy did.
I'll fall asleep anywhere.
Will you?
Yeah.
Are you one of those?
Yeah.
Do you know, I'll get a right buzz off.
Can you watch a movie?
Oh yeah, I'll be kipping.
My worst was when I used to take the kids to watch some rubbish cartoon, which adults go, "Oh, it's brilliant," Toy Story or something, and you're like, "That's just a really good chance for a sleep." And you know what I mean?
I love a nap. Well, I love a little doze.
Goes, what do you think? It's brilliant because it works on 2 levels. I'm like, I don't know, I was asleep.
Do you know what I absolutely love? Asleep on a plane.
Yeah. But your neck starts hurting, doesn't it?
I get such satisfaction. No, not first
Since he's had golf life, he flies everywhere, doesn't he?
Absolutely not.
He's got the...
Absolutely not. Like when you just like you get the window seat and you're like that, and you can put the little pillow there. It's so. Yeah,
but then you don't get the leg room. Window seat, you don't get the leg room, do you?
Tubes is a billionaire these days, Joe. Joe, what have you been up to? Anything good?
No.
Okay. Right, let's do some housekeeping. Stephen says, still chuckle at young Lee Sharp. That was when we were discussing the only Chinese player at the time, young Lee Sharp. Last week, that was you, because you did young players, right?
No, the yellow wall.
Oh, so Robbie did young players.
Yeah, it was Robbie did young players.
Sai says, listening to the W episode and the part about waving, a personal memory of mine is going away to Wales v Latvia, and the Latvian subs warm me up in the front of the away end. This was Helen's. W, which really made me laugh when you wave at players and they you try and get them to wave back. Grown men and women are making a player wave back at them. Anyway, the Latvian subs were warming up in front of the away end where we were chanting each other, chanting each number to give us away. The Latvian number 9 became an instant legend for complying. It meant that when he was eventually brought on, the away end was celebrating like we'd scored a goal. That's great, isn't it? When fans find something to cheer on to. Kevin says, when will you acknowledge that ever since you started your Cole Palmer feature on the podcast, he has been completely dung? Is it fair to say that Cole's brutal form is all Lovejoy and Tubes' fault? I think he's still doing a good job. I just think he's
set the bar so high. You know, you can't carry on like that. But
Rich says,
set it so high then.
Rich says, just had a recollection of the time you had 2 teams competing to win Aldo's windscreen shield.
Aldo's
at the end of the show. Don't know why that stuck with me all these years. Aldo's window shield. Did we really do that? What? Who had to get that? Who had to get that in?
Probably me or Rocket.
Aldo's windscreen.
We did so much crap, didn't we? Colin said, I'm so far behind, I think I'm only on letter N. So can you please wish me Merry Christmas, as that will be about the time I get to Z.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hope you have a fantastic festive season. Now, before we get onto our letter Zs, actually, I'll mention some questions we've got coming up for Friday's show. Do you think in your lifetime you'll ever see England lift the World Cup? From Jason. We'll answer that on Friday. Back in the day, question for the team. I like this one. Who would be in your squad for allies in the great film Escape to Victory, starring the likes of Bobby Moore, Pele, Michael Caine and Sylvester Stallone? Must be 1990s players and actors. We'll have a stab at that on Friday. And was there anything you wanted to do on the show that Sky wouldn't allow? We can talk about that on Friday too. Before we do our Zs from listeners, Robbie is out on the pistes, influencing skiers and snowboarders alike.
He's like an ambassador of influence, isn't he?
He is. He sent us, though, a Z.
Has he?
This is it.
Ooh. Morning all, sorry I can't be there today, but I'm up a mountain again, you know, the life of influencing. I'm not actually influencing. I'm on a holiday with my sons Otto and Arlo. Anyway, Z, I'm going for 0-0, a celebration of what is more conventionally called 0-0. Games without a goal. If you're a fan of 0-0 games or 0-0, then the Premier League has had 4% of their games end 0-0 this season. 5% north of the border in Scotland. So if you're a fan of them, you probably want to head up there. But if you're a massive fan of them, the Algerian top division has had 18% of its games end 0-0 this season. 0-0, sorry. If you don't like them, don't know what's wrong with you, but head to Singapore. Only one game this season. It's the most out of any league that has played over 100 games. It's the one with the least number of goalless games. So, have you got any favourite goalless games? Do you like goals? Discuss.
That was beautiful, wasn't he? He was walking along, talking into his
Looks like a nice place.
He was in Italy. There was snow coming down. That was wonderful. If you get a chance to watch that online,
I did 0-0 for N.
But that's 0-0.
Oh God, yeah. Sorry.
Whoever says what was the score? 0-0.
Yeah, good point.
That's
he's phoned that in for me.
Yeah. He's nicked your idea, 0-0s, and then said 0-0.
That's like you last week for why.
No.
Yellow wall. What's everyone's favourite away ground?
But look at the discussion afterwards.
Robert,
it was magical.
It was horrible.
Well, it
Don't get me started again.
Where's my crown? Where's my crown?
Get me a sound
Pass
bath.
me that crown.
Get me some meditation.
Does nobody remember Dave Bassett used to say 0-0? I'm sure I've heard Harry Redknapp say
brilliant.
1 to 0 or yeah. I've definitely heard Dave Bassett say.
I always think you can judge someone by if they love a 0-0 because you get the sort of real fans, the ones who really understand the game better than all of us.
The chin scratchers.
And they go, that was it was 0-0, but it was a beautiful 0-0. It was such a wonderful defensive display.
The way they cancel each other out.
It
was just like watching two prize heavyweights sussing each other in. Rubbish. It was 0-0.
We're paying for goals. Have we got some Zeds, Helen, from our Z's?
We have. Fan Zeds this week. Paul M has just put zonal marking.
Yeah, controversial.
I mean, it's a Z. It's a Z, isn't it?
Controversial. Isn't that what Liverpool? Wasn't that Liverpool's mistake?
Was it Rafa Benitez brought that in, zonal marking?
Well, didn't they put their big lads in a zone and then they didn't have anyone marking down Burn? Anyway, what do I know?
What an header that was.
Yeah.
Neck muscles on that.
Yes.
Dan Stocks has said Zaragoza.
Yeah,
9 from the halfway line.
Yes, exactly. But I was just looking up because I was waiting for Joe to do it better than me.
What was it?
Zaragoza.
Zaragoza.
It's
got two Z's in it.
Zaragoza.
And you're right, Naeem from the halfway line. Harry Trethowen. Well, that's a good Cornish name.
Great name.
Has just put a row of Zs for games that you get excited for that end up being an absolute snooze fest.
0-0.
That should have probably been in What's Wrong with Football, but
like when you get an England game at a World Cup and it's just rubbish. Really, you've waited so long for it and it's so disappointing.
And it usually is the opening game as well that's either 0-0 or 1-1. We've done loads of those in my lifetime. I love this one because this is fantastically random. GD Cares says Ned Zelic joined QPR and was the only Aussie who couldn't settle in Shepherd's Bush. So I looked up Ned Zelic because I'm like, Ned Zelic, does that never... He played 4 appearances for QPR. He went all over Europe, played, went to Eintracht Frankfurt after that. But how brilliant for somebody to go, I've got a Z, Ned Zelic. 4 appearances for QPR. And Jay Grove says Zizou, the headbutt to the chest.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And how about who's going to sing the Bobby Zamora song?
Which one?
Zamora.
No, there's when the ball hits the net.
And it's not George Cadet, it's De Canio.
No, when the ball hits the goal, it's not Scirocco.
It's Zamora.
But then didn't Fulham fans sing when the ball hits his head? No, when the ball hits your head and you're sitting in row Z, it's Zamora.
Yes.
Did he leave Fulham to go to... Who did he play for? He left Fulham to go to...
QPR, Fulham,
QPR.
West Ham.
I don't know, West Ham. I don't know who else.
He played loads of London
Brighton,
clubs,
he
didn't
played
he?
Brilliant footballer.
Hey,
Bobby
did you
Zamora.
see...
Brighton was yeah.
But better
Brilliant
news than
footballer.
that, you know, all footballers are all putting themselves on social media. Did you see him? He was out skiing with John Terry, got his shirt off, dancing in a bar. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He's ripped.
Oh, he's absolutely ripped.
Oh, he's in good shape.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's funny how some of the players they beef up, don't they, when they leave?
You know, when you are ripped, you have no qualms about getting your shirt off, though,
That's
do you?
true. Yeah.
You know,
he looked good, Bobby Zamora. I tell you what,
Oh yeah,
his
he's
shirt off.
absolute power.
Yeah. Let's get Robbie training with him.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for that video of Darren Huckabee.
yeah. He says any day now it's going to be coming out. Now.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Exactly.
And finally, we've been told off by Russ, who says, I cannot believe that last week for Why you missed Yip Yap Sam.
Oh, he's a
the
big Dutch man.
Yeah.
The big Dutch man.
Coxie says, this is my favourite Z, which has been sent in. 0 years since Newcastle's last trophy. Well done, Newcastle.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, they've reset it, haven't they?
So, Tubes is the winner. Should we start with the winner? Winner stays on, isn't it? Always on this show. So, Tubes, what's your Z?
Well,
What's your topic of discussion that you're going to throw open to everyone else this week? Yeah.
Well, the obvious one would have been my hero, Zola, but we had that beautiful, beautiful specimen on the phone the other week.
Yeah.
So, Zola, I love you. I always will. I'm going to go for Zlatan.
Brilliant.
And his quotes, because he really is a massive character in football.
Do you think if he wasn't Swedish, he would be regarded as one of the better? Because he is one of the best, but wouldn't he be up there with Zizou, Messi, Ronaldo?
Well, what's being Swedish got to do with it?
Because they don't play in they don't do well in the big tournaments. Isn't that always the problem with like?
Yeah, an international stage, yeah, but he's done pretty well at club level, hasn't he?
Yeah, but why isn't he in the same breath as Messi and Ronaldo? I mean, he puts himself in the same, as I'm sure you're going to read in your quotes in a minute. He puts because he is unbelievably good, isn't he? His goals have been unbelievable.
But is he in that bracket?
Yeah.
Do you think he is in Ronaldo, Messi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zidane, yeah.
You think, yeah?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Am I wrong?
I don't know. It's open to discussion, really.
This is what he does, isn't it? He just, he just says,
that's not what I'm going to. That's not what I've come on the mic
for.
All right,
okay, well, here's some of his quotes.
Yeah, he's got the best quotes. Come on.
I can't help but laugh at how perfect I am.
Yeah, see.
It's nice.
Yeah.
What do you mean, present? She got Zlatan on his ex-girlfriend's engagement gift.
Nice.
We're looking for an apartment. If we don't find anything, then I'll probably just buy the hotel. Zlatan, only God knows who will go through. Reporter, it's hard to ask him. Zlatan, you're talking to him.
You're talking to him.
He's very cluffy, isn't he, in his ways? Yeah.
After his amazing goal versus England in 2012, you can't coach brilliance like that.
Yeah, it's true.
Keep booing. This is the biggest moment in your year seeing me. His response to the away fans booing him during his farewell speech. First I went left, he did too. Then I went right, and he did too. Then I went left again, and he went to buy a hot dog.
That's good.
That was against United, wasn't it?
But there's just so many, and just
it lacks a bit of self-confidence, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think
if he was English, do you think that because you know what we're like with people with confidence like that, if he'd have come out with all that stuff and been English and, I don't know, played for Chelsea or something, do you think everybody would just think he's a knob? Is it because he's foreign that he gets away with this? Yeah. We think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have him, would we? His arrogance. But
we wouldn't. We wouldn't.
Yeah, we don't like it,
you're right.
But I like him.
That goal, that amazing bicycle overhead kick from like about 40 yards out in Gotham, was it? No, it was in Stockholm.
Yeah.
I was there at that match. I was sitting behind the dugout, right, and it was just before the end of the game. And I went back into the tunnel to get all the cameras set up and want to do some post-match interviews. And I missed the goal.
No.
I missed it, right? And I got into the tunnel. It was like, there was a big roar. I was like, what's happened? He said, you've just missed the best goal ever. It's like Zlatan scored an overhead kick from 40 yards out.
Isn't he a black belt in something?
In overhead kicks.
Yeah.
So I'm standing in this
sorry.
corridor, right, to wait for a couple of the England players for a post-match interview. And all of a sudden, out of this side door, about a metre in front of the camera, Zlatan comes walking out, just opened the door and comes out. And I'm like, Zlatan, any chance for a quick word? And he just stopped and he looked at me up and down like something he'd scraped off the sole of his shoe.
Fair.
Shook his head and walked off. And Ashley Young was walking up the corridor behind him and he saw it all. And he just walked past me and went, I'd say that as a no, mate.
Ashley Cole's funny, isn't he?
Ashley Young.
Ashley Young.
Oh, Ashley Young. Oh, sorry.
Ashley Young is funny
Yeah,
as well.
Ashley Young's funny as well.
It's a bit rude though, isn't it?
But at least Zlatan knows I exist.
Yeah.
He's seen me.
So he's a black belt at Taekwondo or karate or something like that, isn't he? That's what he puts down for.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Tubes is one there, don't you?
It's a massive shame he never played in the Premier League.
He did. He did, yeah, for United.
Oh, of course he did.
Yeah, Man United, yeah. No, I
completely ruined it.
Great research.
Oh, yeah. Last one. I've had a kid.
I tell you what, right?
Cool.
baby brain.
If Tubes
course
wins
he
on
did.
that, I don't want to get moody again, but if Tubes wins on
He's
that,
going. That vein on his head's pulsating already.
thing is, right, if I'd done that, I'd have probably, he's just had a baby, he's sleep deprived, but I would at least listed them in the top five down or something. I just made it.
Yeah.
So
Brought a bit of theatre to it. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I'd have done something to make it interesting. Anyway, I'm getting a bit
And
cold.
I
Is he
hate to
set the
join
bar
in.
high?
Sorry, Tim. I hate to join in with this, but also when I did for Q, I did footballers' quotes. I said I'm not going to do a lot of Zlatan because I could do the whole thing,
Yeah.
but I did 2 of the ones that Tubes did. I did the hot dog one and I did the speaking to God one, and I said there are loads more, and I might bring
Tell you
that
what.
for my Z.
Looks
So,
like
yeah.
And Robbie's already done 0-0, which
Yeah.
I've already done.
Looks like
I'd get that
Lovejoy's.
crown off.
Oh, looks like Lovejoy's going to win the crown.
Plus, I just said
Taking to get
Zlatan never played in the
dessert.
Premier League.
It's
I don't
getting
deserve
cold
to
in
win.
here. It really is getting
Yeah.
cold.
Oh, yeah.
guys.
Is it
Now he's
freezing?
dropping
Oh,
his
yeah.
Air
temperature.
conditioning. So you can only mean one thing.
What's happened in here?
Someone left the window open.
He's running down the left. He's running down the right. He's running down the left. He's running down the right. Cole Palmer is dynamite. It's Cole Palmer.
It would be interesting if next week Cole starts banging in goals left, right and centre after we stop doing this. Right, it's getting colder in here. You can feel the temperature drop, obviously. Cole Palmer's here. Cole is cool. He's so cool. He's told into Cole Palmer. He grabs for a scarf. But whose scarf is it? It has a shield on it.
They always have a shield on it.
Yeah, well, that's the way to start. It has a football on it too. It has a rose on it. Mm.
Rose? Leeds?
Rose is white. It's not Leeds. No.
Southampton.
It has a scarf on the badge too. It has a tree on it.
Southampton.
It's red and white.
Southampton.
There are some waves on the shield, and there is a halo above the ball. It is, of course,
Southampton.
Southampton.
What I've noticed about this game is when we say the right answer, you never say if we've got the right answer. You just
Because I'm
carry
going
on.
all the way through it. It's
Yeah.
like you just have to keep guessing, because if you guess wrong, people can still carry on joining in, can't they? That's how it
And
works.
also, sometimes Tim has said it's blue, and we've had a stab. And if we were right, Tim would just go, "Yep, you're correct. There we
Yeah,
are. That's the end." So
exactly.
we wouldn't get the rest of the feature.
No, you're
I
right.
stand with Lovejoy.
Okay.
It's a good badge, Southampton. Hasn't changed in years, like Birmingham.
They've been nicknamed. They're nicknamed the Saints because of what? Why?
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore used to play left back. No. Anyone know?
No,
'Cause
I
I didn't
don't.
know. I thought I better look this up. We all
Because
so used to.
it begins with S.
No, it's because the club's beginnings were at a church football team, St Mary's Church.
Oh, right. Is that why it's called St Mary's?
Oh, St Mary's.
I assume so. So there you go. Who's going next? Helen, do you want to go?
My Z is zoo animals on the pitch.
Oh.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
Brilliant.
Okay. So a match in Australia was halted when a kangaroo turned up on the pitch.
Oh, I thought you were going to do players' names.
Yeah, I did.
I thought you were going to
Me too.
sort of say Johnny Zebra played for...
Oh,
You know.
well, sorry to disappoint you.
No, go on. There's a
Bob-
kangaroo
Bob-
on the pitch in Australia.
Bob
I'm
Ostrich.
actually doing
Golden
I'm
Cowan.
Yeah, good. Polka
doing
skulls.
animals.
That's a pig. They're not zoo animals. Sorry,
A
Helen.
match in
continue.
Australia was halted when a kangaroo turned up on the pitch during the match. The commentary team watched as it hopped over the fence and bounced towards the goal, and it hung out there for a bit, and then it lay down. The team, for some mad reason, threw a couple of footballs at it, which did nothing because kangaroos are nails, and it eventually got bored and hopped off. Isn't the entire concept of a kangaroo just absolutely nuts?
Yeah.
A massive, solid animal that's
Joey
violent,
Barton.
Yeah.
that it'll shoo you to death, but they bounce.
Yeah,
Joey
on its and
Barton.
it lifts itself up on its tail, doesn't it? And like so it
Yeah,
can boot
to-
you. With
to-
its, yeah, terrifying.
yeah.
thing.
Have you seen the clip on the
It's-
internet of the two kangaroos fighting in the garden?
Fighting.
Yeah, and they're going to the fence. It's awesome.
Yes.
If you haven't
Joey-
seen it, check
Joey
it out.
Barton.
Kangaroo.
Hey, that's not a zoo animal.
Shut up,
I'm sorry,
shut up.
but what zoo have you been to? In this country, if you go to a zoo, they have those other ones, wallabies, knocking about. You never have a kangaroo. They're too big. No one has a kangaroo. Wallaby.
A raccoon invaded
not a
play in
zoo
the
animal.
MS.
A lion.
You wait till I get to the pigeons.
God, there must better be an elephant or a giraffe involved in this, or I'm out.
I missed the England game because I was so busy typing into Google "lion on the pitch,"
Crocodile.
and I swear to you, and all I was getting was teams that, and especially if you type in football because of American football, and they've all got animals, bear on the pitch at football, and I just got everything. The bears.
I really
Chicago
thought,
Bears.
I thought you were going to do names of zoo animals.
All right, you've said that already. I'm doing it's
What's that
not.
really
What do you
funny
want me
story
to do?
Robbie said about that
What do you-
animal?
What animal?
What's one of the funniest things we've done on Soccer A
rat.
to Z? Was it the rat?
rat.
The rat.
Yeah, the
bumping?
rat. That's and the bit that got everybody was the guy that came out and stomped it 3 times, and he said it's like he knew exactly how many stomps it took to kill a rat, and everybody was booing him because they were cheering for the rat come the end.
In fairness, rats actually are in zoos. There's plenty of them around.
Yeah,
there.
they're
They do-
everywhere. Rats.
Exactly.
They do hang out. Yeah.
Look, I feel like this is going long now. So let me just summarise.
Okay.
There was a raccoon that invaded play in the MSL between Philadelphia Union and New York City, and it was knocking about for a good 5 minutes while security staff tried to catch it in a plastic bin, while all the time the crowd were chanting "Raccoon, raccoon, raccoon."
There was a fox once. Sorry.
A snake stopped a game in Guatemala. Now, this is what made me think of Robbie's rat story, because there's footage of a player that's got a 20-foot pole. No idea where from.
Wow.
All right.
That's nearly as long as Pete.
Players turned up on the pitch with a 20-foot pole, and security staff have got riot shields. Now, it looks like they're clubbing it to death. So I was thinking, I'm not sure if I can put this story in, because they turn up with these riot shields, and it's like they're trying to chop its head off. But then all of a sudden, they emerge with it, wriggling about, and then they eventually stuff it into a bag. What's that all about as well? Why do people love stuffing snakes into bags?
Because you
have
can't
to,
get
don't
out
you?
of a bag.
Yeah.
They also like they go into them, don't they? They like being in dark spaces, I think.
I don't know, but where else can you put a snake? You can't just wrap it around your shoulder, can you? Just walk it off.
Don't know.
Okay.
Closer to home, an elephant.
Yes,
There we go.
Please
Finally.
please be at the Coventry,
Yeah.
please.
No, you should remember this. An elephant was paraded around the pitch at Selhurst Park before Wimbledon's game against Nottingham Forest in 1995. Wimbledon chairman Sam Hammam just did it for a laugh, it appears.
Oh no, it'd be much better if it
remember
just
that.
broke in.
Yeah.
Just came off the high
Yeah,
street.
I know.
That'd be much better.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And not at zoo
Get an
animal, but
elephant
finally
from?
So that
Where'd you get an elephant from to wander around the zoo?
Right.
The zoo.
Right, exactly. And finally, the chicken. We got to talk about the chicken that was thrown onto the pitch during Blackburn's crucial Premier League game with Wigan, thought to be in protest against Blackburn's owner, the poultry company Venky's, because the bird was wearing a Blackburn flag as a cape. And it was caught in the goal net. This is what I like, is when players get involved. It was caught in the goal net by the Wigan keeper, Ali Al-Habsi, and then Blackburn's Yakubu came around the other side and picked it up to the cheers and the boos of the crowd, and then handed to security, who walked off with it like it was a bomb. It's chicken. And Blackburn lost and got relegated.
You'd be gutted if you went to the zoo and there was a chicken there, wouldn't you?
No, not if there was a chicken in a cage.
You can see one in Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they threw a pig on the pitch in El Clasico. Well, just the top half.
His head.
Yeah, I didn't want to do. Oh, and a game in
didn't they?
Russia.
Yeah, that was mad.
A game
wasn't
in
it?
Russia had a dancing bear as well, and I thought, oh no, I don't want to mention that because that's just horrible.
Yeah.
Like they were teaching, the bear was waving, and you think, no, they would have smacked that.
There's no animals on pitches these days. The stadiums are too good, aren't they? Because since the Taylor report and they've all become all-seater, you don't get as many.
Light shows
dogs
have taken over.
Yeah, even you don't get dogs on the
You
pitch.
do a bit of lower league, don't you?
Yeah.
Where Helen knocks about. Anyone for stat chat?
Yeah.
Okay, Rondo says Lev Yashin saved over 150 penalties in his career.
Nonsense.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. That made me angry last week. How Joe produced that as a piece of material. SPH says, I've listened to 100% of these podcasts and my car journeys will now be 100% longer. That's his stat. And then Paul, I'm going to Reveley says season stats. You're going to like this, guys. It was mentioned a few times about stats over the season as to who has won the most. So I thought I'd provide you with all the information you needed, the ultimate stats on Stat Chat. All these stats will only be from soccer A to Y, not A to Z, because he doesn't know who's won this week.
Oh, I see. Our stats, right. Okay.
They are our stats.
We've got an analyst.
Yeah, I like that.
So let's start with Tim has won 0% with 0 wins.
Expected wins, none.
Neil,
0.
1 win, 3.8%. Robbie, 5 wins, 19.2%. Helen and Tubes are tied with 6 wins at 23.1%. But Joe leads going into the final week of the season with 7 wins, 26.9%. 7 wins. Could he win it again today?
I have a small argument with that, is because Neil only made 1 appearance.
Okay, however, it's only fair that some are hindered by not being in attendance for various reasons, like illness or having a baby, or influencing. He didn't mention that. Congratulations, Tubes, he says.
Thank you.
These stats look very different if you factor this in, not for Tim, obviously. So with 25 appearances and 0 wins, Tim remains at 0%. Robbie appeared 21 times with 5 wins, so win ratio of 23.8%. Helen is next with 6 wins from 25 appearances, so 24%. Joe wins 29.2% of the time, and he plays 7 wins from 24 appearances. So you're on 29%.
Stats don't lie.
Tubes is 30%, so that's a bit better than you. 6 wins from just 20 appearances. But out in front with 1 win from 1 appearance with a 100% record, it is Neil. So Neil actually has won soccer A to Z.
Well done, the square.
Because none of us can catch him, even if we do
the
this.
square. What did he even win with? What was his...
What did he do? I don't even know what letter he did. But
did he say Robbie with 21 appearances, though?
Did he do H?
Because I don't think Robbie's done 21.
Robbie's done 21 appearances. So I've got a statement from Neil. Forget learning to teach Spanish. This is undoubtedly my proudest moment of the past year and ranks alongside being the reigning Soccer M poker champion in my all-time career achievements. We'll go back to that. I'd like to thank everyone who made this possible. Ian Holloway for being himself, Helen for voting for me, and most of all, the rest of you, lot for not inviting me back since. Signed, Neil Smythe, L. Colonel. Well, we have invited him back, in fairness. It's because he can only do school holidays.
Yeah.
So he's busy being a teacher. Yeah, it was Ian Holloway then, wasn't it? He must have done. So what's he mean he's soccer and poker champion? Did we have a championship? Did he win, Helen?
Yeah,
You know about that? You won.
Ran my house, yeah.
And he won it?
Everybody, well, I guess so, because if he says he's a poker champion.
Oh, I don't remember
Yeah,
him.
he must have.
Okay, that's good. So that's stat chat for you. Time for our guest now. This guy's great. He's a comedian, he's a presenter, he's an actor, he's a podcaster. Every single thing he touches turns to gold, apart from his football team. It's Josh Widdicombe's here.
Oh, I know. I knew this day would come of actually meeting another West Country football fan. And,
do you know what, Josh? I mean, I just don't know how to say this. I love you and hate you in equal measures.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. I think do you know what? It's better than I thought I was going to get when you started that sentence.
when you started to turn up on the telly, I'm like, oh yes, West Country, yes, brilliant. He's from Plymouth, yes, brilliant. He's a Plymouth Argyle fan. Oh no, he's a Plymouth Argyle.
Oh wow, I'm not even from Plymouth, Helen.
Yes,
from probably closer to Torquay.
Oh God!
Why Plymouth?
The betrayal.
Then? What happened?
I'm what's known in the trade as a glory hunter.
Yes.
With Plymouth, brilliant.
The first game I went to was Exeter. In 1990, they won Division 4 in 1990. And I went to one of those games, so I'd been 7, and then we went to Plymouth when I was 8, and Home Park blew me away, which is mad when you think about how bad it was at the time, but it felt huge. And then, to be fair, my half-brother, he lived in Cornwall, and it meant that we could go to football together, because Plymouth was between us,
like
the two
halfway.
of us.
Do you know the other thing I absolutely love about you as well, because I recognise this, when you're on the last leg, any excuse to get a Plymouth Argyle shirt or scarf onto the show. Now, I feel that down to my bones, because I was the same. I know Soccer AM was obviously a football programme, but any other show that I was on, any time I mentioned Torquay United or could get a shirt and a scarf on, I do it, because we're the little people.
We're the little people. Although I would say that we're slightly bigger than Torquay, just to be very clear.
It's like Fenerbahce Galatasaray, and they're off.
Josh, what do you think of your season? Because you've had some amazing cup run.
Getting relegated.
But you're at the bottom of the league. How do you feel about it?
It's been pretty much a disaster from day one. It's difficult because we haven't got them. Like we're in championship standards, our just budget is not good enough. So you're always unless something amazing happens, you're going to be going down or near about going down. And so it was always going to be difficult. And then Wayne Rooney didn't work out. Is that the best way to say it?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
To say it. Yeah. I was so jealous when he was like, oh, God, they've got Wayne Rooney. And then,
were you? I think you were the only fan in the country that was jealous when we appointed Wayne Rooney.
I mean, but it was the fact that,
it's quite exciting.
Because the problem with our teams, as we know, we are right down the bottom of the country.
Yeah.
So everything is a schlep. Even, I remember, there was one season when Torquay United's nearest team to play was Leyton Orient, which is a 3.5 hour drive from Torquay. That was our closest team.
None of the Bristols.
No, they weren't in our league.
It's a sad time, isn't it? Like, we've got our local. I suppose we'll be playing Exeter next season, but and then we've got a new manager, and he has done well, but it's just too late. He plays a completely different style of football and to the squad that has been built beforehand, and it's just. I think we'll be good next season. League One's much.
But you beat Brentford and Liverpool,
You beat
didn't you?
Liverpool,
So,
No, mad.
It's amazing.
And we went 1-0 up against Man City, which felt
exactly.
At that point,
great.
I thought our name's on the carpet.
Typical football
It's
fan.
done and dusted. It's done. It's
Wasn't there a
done.
weird stat that at one point you'd beaten more Premier League teams than you had Championship teams this season?
Yeah, I think that's almost certainly true, and I think that can definitely. I don't doubt that. There was also there's nice things that would happen in Liverpool games. Obviously, they've had a bit of a wobble since, but like where they'd say stuff like, only 2 teams have stopped Liverpool scoring from this season, and one of them was Plymouth Argyle. And you think, like, we were one of the only teams to stop Liverpool all season until they then kind of blew it in everything else. But we started that rot.
Josh, one of the things I always it amazes me is when you talk about your school where you went to school with like 10 people or something. It was such a small amount.
Yeah.
What did you ever get to play football or do any PE lessons? How many people were there in your school?
So there's 4 in my year. You'll presumably know. Do you know Ilsington, Helen?
No, I don't know.
You know, near Bovey Tracy.
Yeah, well, I know Bovey. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's near there on Dartmoor. So 4 kids in my year. So no, we didn't get to play. We couldn't even. We
Couldn't get 5-a-side team, yeah.
We'd have to do rush goalies if we did 5-a-side.
Go on.
No, we didn't. And then I went to secondary school. There was loads of kids at secondary school, but I wasn't quite good enough. I wasn't bad at sport. I wasn't good at sport, if you know what I mean. There was a bottom PE group and a top PE group, and I was the definitive yo-yo club. Do you know what I mean? I was Burnley. And I tell you now, life is so much better in bottom PE. Life is brilliant in bottom
You're competing, aren't you?
Yeah, well, you're like the big dog in the bottom league.
Yeah. Oh, I felt like bloody Mo Farah. It was unbelievable. There was a kid that didn't finish the 100 metres. I felt like a god.
Josh, whilst you're on, we've got to talk about TV work. You still got your show with you still got your podcast, which is unbelievable, by the way, with Rob Beckett. Keeps going. That keeps going. You know, it's getting
that's the
bigger.
beauty of a podcast. You can't you can cancel us, I suppose, but you can't cancel. There's no TV producers or commissioners that can cancel us. The glory.
No gatekeepers. But your TV show you're doing with Rob Beckett, Smart TV, where you're the captain. How's that going? Are you enjoying that one?
I'm loving that. It's me, Rob, and Alison Hammond. Alison Hammond is like a national treasure now, isn't she? She's like she's unbelievable.
I mean, that laugh.
What I love about her is it took her, like, she was in Big Brother 20 years ago. She kind of bubbled along for about 15 years, and now everyone's just gone, oh yeah, Alison Hammond's just brilliant. And she's exactly as you'd imagine. It's a fun panel show on Sky about television, and to be honest with you, it's just lovely to do, and we have really good people on because Sky, because they've got proper budgets.
You were an early adopter to football podcasts, weren't you? 2017.
I was.
You're not doing any at the moment, are you?
No, but as an early adopter, it was Quickly Kevin, Will He Score? It was a nostalgic 90s podcast. So it's not like I was like on the money I was an early adopter in the way I was going, I preferred it in the olden days. Do you know what I mean? I preferred life in the olden days. And we did 7 years, and there's only so much of the 90s you can talk about, which I know.
Well, 10 years of it.
10 years, I know, and we were starting to repeat ourselves. Maybe there's only so many Spice Boys you can ask about the cream suits, but it was a great thing to do. We interviewed loads of great people. Like we interviewed, everyone really, from Harry Redknapp to Kevin Keegan to Glenn Hoddle to Gary Lineker, to all the people that, it was just as interesting. Like, we had Richard Shaw on, and you go, well, what's the most interesting thing to ask Richard Shaw? He was the man who was fouled by Eric Cantona when Eric Cantona was sent off. So you have all these, like, interesting... Once you speak to people, it is the best era for football. I know as a Chelsea fan, maybe not, but, like, when you have 2000s... But Torquay were good in the 90s comparatively.
Oh, yes, comparatively.
Yeah. Well,
we were in the league. We were in the league, so that was something.
We won the FA Cup in '97. Now England look like they're going to do well again. Will you be going to England matches and getting drunk with Rob Beckett? Because that was one of my favourite things. Rob deciding to get really, really drunk at England matches.
I've stopped drinking, so not because of Rob, but I've stopped drinking. But I quite enjoy observing people drinking. Rob went to the final in where was it? In 2 years ago or last year, wherever it was. When we got to the Euros final.
Yeah.
And he said to me afterwards that he didn't want to ever go to an England game again. That I don't think he loved it, but America does call you, doesn't it?
It does.
It really, really calls you, because you're just like, God. I mean, it's not as fun in the sense you're going to have to fly between every game. Like, there's not a centre in the way that if you went to Germany or something, I think it would feel much more contained. But it is a good place to go to a World Cup, particularly when you are aware of where the following World Cups are going to be, and they're not going to be as easy to go to.
Josh, we're going to win it. We're going to win. It's my prediction.
I think we're going to win it.
We're going to win it.
Really?
Josh, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really lovely talking to you as always.
Thank you for having me. Sorry I was late.
No problem at all.
All right, just one more. So this is in your ears as you leave. Ooh.
Do you know the thing that will hurt you most, Helen? I'm quite fond of Torquay. Which is the worst thing I can say.
Oh,
no. How condescending can you get?
We know that. We get patted on the head.
Oh, do you know what? You've got Neil Warnock, and I've got a lot of time for the little guy. I've got a lot of time for the little guy.
And Charlie Baker as well.
I love Charlie Baker.
We all love Charlie Baker.
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys.
Thanks, Josh.
Cheers, Josh.
Cheers, Josh.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right, who's next up? It's Joe.
What letter is it this week?
It's Z. Last letter of the alphabet.
Z.
0, 0.
Z.
Right. My Z this week, rustling the papers. My Z this week is Zodiac.
Oh, killer.
Zodiac.
Killer. The Zodiac Killer.
Yeah,
Is it about
Zodiac.
murder?
What a player he was, by the way, Zodiac. That season he had at West Brom, he was unplayable, wasn't he, Zodiac?
Yeah, definite.
Yeah. Wasn't he there at the same time as Insomniac?
I think so, yeah.
He kept him up.
Yeah, they did.
Right. Zodiac, astrology. Is it all new age hippy dippy claptrap? Is it woke nonsense? Let's find out. Here are our star signings. Let's start with Aries. Known for their fiery and fearless nature, Aresians or Aresy peelers make natural attackers or valiant defenders. Examples: Ronaldinho, Sergio Ramos, Bobby Moore.
You're seriously going to go through the star signs?
It's only 12.
Have you been to a sound
Jesus
bath?
Christ, is this really what?
Taurus.
Oh my God.
No, wait. I've had an interjection for Aries here. Teddy Sheringham. Teddy Sheringham is an Aries. The only reason I know that is because Teddy and I share the same birthday.
Right, well, he's known for his fiery and fearless nature, isn't he?
But
Aries, Teddy Sheringham.
I said I wasn't going to get angry, but Jesus Christ, Zodiacs.
Right, Taurians, Taurus.
Have we got 12? Have we really got 12
reliable,
of this?
patient, persistent, making them solid, dependable teammates. David Beckham, Andres Iniesta, Cole Palmer.
Right.
Geminians are adaptable, quick-witted, and good at learning new skills.
You're having a go at me for
12 of these.
yellow wall.
All right, come on, go on, Joe, go on.
No. Do you know what? You can shove it.
Star signs aren't even real.
You can shove it. I've already won 7. And now it feels like
but I've got the biggest percentage, and that you're not going to get the percentage winner out of that.
yeah, it's all about titles.
You can't
mate.
take the mick out of
It's all
me for
about
yellow
titles.
wall and
It's
then
all
come
about
and read out
medals and draw,
zodiac
innit?
signs.
Wow. Christ.
I'm sorry, Joe. I actually think it's quite a good idea because it's different.
What is it though? What's the substance?
What's your favourite away ground?
He's basically just reading out people's birthdays.
It was about characteristics. If you'd given it a chance.
Were you going to go through all 12 of them?
If you'd given it a chance, right? It was about characteristics, and those characteristics that they brought to the football field and manifested themselves on the pitch. But you dismissed it out of hand. You were like, this is shite. I'm not having it. Right? Have we got 12 of these? I don't make up the number of star signs in the Zodiac, do I?
That is possibly the worst one we've ever had on this show.
I disagree. I disagree.
And she marks it. Yeah. She marks it. You sit back, lads. See what happens when it on Judgment Day.
But you would have been there,
Hell, didn't you?
You've had a stinker.
It would have been about 20 minutes long.
I wouldn't.
Oh, my life.
Have you stopped now after 2?
Yeah. Right, we've only got mine left, and it's wonderful because I already know I've won it. What was your thing? You keep saying red over the pocket. I've got red over the pocket. Just before we get to me, let's quickly do a Peter Selby's Guess the Goal. This week, I'm going to give you a clue. It's a World Cup classic.
Awesome.
Here we go.
Peter Selby, Guess the Goal.
The left winger is on the left touchline, halfway line. Plays a 30-yard ball down the touchline. Brilliant control by the forward, who stops, turns, and now runs towards the left corner of the penalty area. Gets to the left corner of the penalty area, moves square to his right, jinks past the player, and now prods it away from a defender. Square to his right, 5 yards, to the centre forward, 25 yards from goal, central position. He's waiting for help on his right. He stands there and plays it diagonally forward to his right, 10 yards. In comes the right back, and he hits it first time right-footed, past the goalkeeper in a flash, into the bottom left corner. A wonderful goal. It was a great move down the left touchline, and across came the defender, left corner of the penalty area. A prodded ball square to the right, and there's the star centre forward standing there 25 yards from goal, central position, nonchalantly stands there, controls the ball, waits for help on the right, plays it diagonally forward into the path, 10 yards of the oncoming right back, and the ball bobbles just in time for the right back to volley then in stride, doesn't break stride, and he's past the goalkeeper into the bottom left corner in a flash.
I actually got this one.
Did you
get it? Yeah, because it's one of my favourite ever goals.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Carlos Alberto, isn't it?
Yeah, Carlos Alberto. Brazil v Italy, 1970 World Cup.
Yeah. One of the most famous goals ever scored.
Yeah, you know it now, right?
I know, now you've said it, I would never have got that.
That's right, yeah. This is what it sounds like.
Jorginho running towards the left corner of the Italian penalty area. Across comes the Italian captain Fracchetti. He plays the ball square, Jorginho to Pele. Pele's waiting for help on the right. And here it comes with Carlos Alberto, right-footed into the bottom left corner. Brazil have 4, and they've won the 1970 World Cup.
It's the way he just rolls it off into nothing.
Exactly.
And it's like, and he just all of a sudden he just appears. And
Peter Selby is a descriptive commentator for the Partially Sighted, by the way, and thank you. That was a brilliant descriptive commentary there on that goal. Okay, it's just me left then, is it?
Yeah.
Just
this is your last chance.
Pass me the crown.
Your last chance.
The crown.
This had better be good.
I've got no competition. Yeah. My Z is for Zenith Data Systems Cup. Also known as the Four Members Cup and the Simon Cup. It lasted between 85 and 92. The competition was created after the 1985 Heysel Stadium disaster, when English clubs were banned from European competition, as an additional competition for clubs in the two top English divisions. The competition name refers to the clubs that were full members of the Football League with full voting rights. Zenith Data obviously went on to sponsor it. 4 teams chose never to enter the competition, showing their values and the fact they weren't going to join in. These are the bad clubs, the naughty clubs of English football. Who do you think the 4 were who thought they were too big to join in with the rest of us?
Zenith Data Systems.
4 top league clubs. Who do you think they are?
United.
Tottenham.
Yes.
Chelsea.
No, Chelsea won it.
Arsenal and United. Arsenal, Liverpool, United and Spurs. They never entered it. Did you know that?
No.
Did
Can
not
you
know
Adam
that.
and Eve it? Chelsea won the cup twice.
yeah.
We're the leading winners of that. We won it in 85-86, beat City 5-4, and in 89-90 we beat Borough 1-0. The Chelsea City game was extraordinary at the old Wembley. There were 9 goals. Chelsea won 5-4. Chelsea had led 5-1 courtesy of David Speedy hat-trick, a couple from Colin Lee. Manchester City scored 3 times in the last 5 minutes to give them a scare, including a Doug Ruthie old goal. Yes, but it's not about the Four Members Cup or the Zenith Data Systems Cup that I'm talking about, even though I think that's really interesting. The point I'm trying to make here is this is for all football fans out there. We've gone through a hell of a journey through the alphabet, haven't we? There's been highs and there's been lows.
Is this going to go on much longer?
There's been someone trying to do the Zodiac on the show, read 12 sodding star signs, and then we've had great things like me talking about coin tosses and things. But I thought when we won the Four Members Cup, I thought I was there. I watched that game and I thought this is as good as it's going to get for Chelsea fans, seeing your team win at Wembley, the old Wembley. And I thought I could not imagine Chelsea ever winning anything. I couldn't imagine us winning a proper cup or winning a football league or something. And it's what I've learned since then is no one knows anything about football. Nothing ever happens until it does. Think Leicester City, think Wrexham, think Chelsea, think Manchester City. There's always hope. This is the message I'm trying to give to fans this year, and I'm just trying to help society a bit. And hope is what it's all about, though hope comes with a warning. There is ordinary hope, which is what I like to call amateur hope. It's often rooted in desire and expectation, which can lead to the disappointment and suffering when those expectations are not met.
Let me find Land of Hope and Glory.
Or there's the Buddhist way, they teach a much wiser hope, recognizing that even in the midst of difficult situation, there is always the potential for growth and positive change. So when you're watching your team, you're watching something like Torquay, and you know you're struggling, you can always think there's hope here. There is hope. There's potential for growth. There's positive change. And to summarise, I've written a little thing.
A little thing? There's more.
A verse. It's little. I've written it. I've composed it.
It's not topping Zodiac, this.
Are you ready? So many times it happens too fast. You trade your passion for glory. Sorry. So many times it happens too fast. You trade your passion for glory. Sorry. Sorry, I'll go.
Keep going.
So many times it happens too fast.
Such bollocks.
So many times it happens too fast. You trade your passion for glory. Don't lose your grip. Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. Now you can all zen off. The end.
This is such a man desperate to win.
You all right?
I think that was beautifully written.
Oh, have you done?
Just before we decide if I've won. Have you got any what's wrong with footballs, Helen?
What just happened?
I just don't know what's happened the last 45 minutes.
Oh no, Tube's just wheezing. What's wrong with football? First one. Taz says, did you see the ITV graphic before the England World Cup qualifier the other night? They put this graphic up on the screen that at the top it said progressive actions versus chance creation. Down the side it said expected assists, and at the bottom it said progressive actions. Then there were just a load of blobs on it, and then there were a few players' names with some bits of string coming out of it. I've never I looked at it and went, What is that?
You showed me a photo of it earlier.
Yeah, Helen sent us a photo of that, and we
grief.
have literally no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And there was another one afterwards with a player and a wheel and all different sections and
Yeah, it had a
stuff.
Venn diagram, didn't it?
That was what's wrong with football. Now, Bobby says, ooh, okay, no jacket, shirt and tie on some of the cup final pundits.
Yes.
Last week. That was what's wrong with football. You got to. I strongly agree with that.
If it's important.
I mean, the boys all dress nicely, but come on, you've got to go with your shirt and tie and jackets and suits. It's cup final day.
Dress for the final you want.
And Leighton G says not enough players tuck in their shirts in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mateta at Palace.
Rodri's the only one who does it, isn't he?
Mateta.
Did you see Dennis Wise in the Legends game at the weekend?
No.
Oh, didn't he lose his rag with someone?
Oh yeah, Jay Spearing.
Ooh,
Yeah, but he had old
the two
school
of them,
Dennis
yeah.
Wise shorts on, tucked in.
Nice.
That was amazing.
Perfect.
Proper.
A couple of work nonsenses before.
Yeah, please.
Andy says 3 players lifting a trophy is what's wrong with football. It's utter woke nonsense.
Yeah.
M. Carter says having to pay more to stand closer to the stage at a festival. Do you?
Do you?
Yeah,
Don't you just get there early?
Apparently not. Rondo says low and mid blocks. Woke nonsense. Worsley says apologising for hearing swearing from the crowd. That's what we have to do.
You have to.
But I'm going to have to explain.
But you never
I'm
hear
like
it
this.
anyway.
I do this on social media. Yeah, I
have
do this
to
on
do
social
it.
media when people say,
have to
"Oh,
do
where are you?" Yeah, yes. Go on, Tim. Explain.
You have to do it because Ofcom there's a body which oversees it all, and to cover yourself, you just have to make the effort to go. Apologies for the language. We know no one cares, but you have to do it. Otherwise, Ofcom can start doing things like if there's too many, and it happens too often, they can do a thing like put you on delay, or which happened to Soccer M actually, didn't it? After I left.
Yes, and it's also the case as well that if just one person complains, and believe you me, somebody will complain, even if it's past the watershed and even if it's not that bad a swear word. And so they look at the footage, and if the person who is in charge of the presentation, i.e. the presenter, says, "Oh, sorry about that, if anybody at home was offended, sorry about that," then they can in their report say the person who was hosting the programme apologised. So then they write back to the person who complained and said, "Look, at the time it was covered by the host, they said sorry, so please stop going on social media and saying, oh, stop apologising for people using swear words, we're all fine." That's why companies can get fined for it, so we have to do it.
It's just a game. Right, Helen, did I win? Ooh. Ooh. It's taking me to Z. Did I win? Did I?
Yeah, go on then.
Oh my God! Pass me that crown! Pass me that bloody crown! I've only gone and done it.
There's been weeks that you should have won, but how have you won with that?
I stopped listening about 30 seconds in.
I did.
Look at that. I only gone and won it.
It's just to keep him quiet.
Tim is the king. Tim is the king.
Right, this is why you never
This is why you didn't win. Yeah.
Tim, go, join in everyone. Tim is the king. We'll be back on Friday. With quiz and questions. Tim is the king. Tim.
What did you even do? What even was
He made some speech up.
It was
Read it out. Read the speech out to finish the show. Go on.
It was Z for hope.
Yeah.
And,
Here we go. Listen to this.
So many times it happens too fast. You trade your passion for glory. Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You might fight just to keep them alive. See you
That's not
Friday.
even rhyme.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to watch last week's great episode. Click here. Where is it? There.